Deep in a beautiful forest, surrounded by tall trees and colorful flowers, lived three very different friends. A clever mouse named Milo, a loyal dog named Bruno, and a proud peacock named Percy. Although they were different in size, appearance, and habits, they shared a strong friendship. Every evening they would gather near a sparkling pond and talk about their dreams and adventures. Milo was known throughout the forest for his intelligence. He was small, but he could solve problems faster than anyone else. Bruno was brave and kind. Whenever an animal was in trouble, Bruno was the first to help. Percy was famous for his magnificent feathers. He loved showing them off, and often dreamed of becoming the most admired bird in the forest. One sunny morning, the three friends met under a giant banyan tree. "I have a dream," said Percy proudly, spreading his colorful feathers. "I want everyone in the forest to recognize me as the greatest peacock who ever lived." Bruno wagged his tail. "That sounds wonderful." Milo smiled. "Dreams are important, but they require hard work." Percy nodded, but secretly thought his beauty alone would be enough. Nearby, hidden behind a bush, a sly fox named Felix overheard their conversation. Felix was known for creating trouble whenever he could. He especially disliked seeing others succeed. The fox grinned. "If I can learn their plans," he whispered, "I can stop them." A few days later, Milo came up with an idea. He had discovered an old abandoned grain storage near the edge of the forest. "If we clean it and repair it," he told Bruno and Percy, "it can become a food reserve for all the animals during difficult times." Bruno loved the idea. Percy agreed too. The three friends began working secretly. Every morning, they collected materials, cleaned the storage, and repaired broken sections. Milo had one important rule: never share our plan with anyone until the work is complete. "Why?" asked Percy. "Because not everyone wants to see others succeed," Milo explained. "Some will laugh. Some will discourage us. Others may try to stop us." Bruno nodded. "That makes sense." Percy agreed, but he wasn't fully convinced. A week later, Percy attended a gathering of birds near the river. The birds admired his feathers and asked what he had been doing lately. Percy enjoyed the attention. One bird asked, "You seem very busy these days. What secret project are you working on?" Percy remembered Milo's warning. For a moment he stayed quiet, then pride took over. "My friends and I are building a huge food reserve," he announced proudly. "Soon everyone will depend on us." The birds were impressed. Unknown to Percy, a crow sitting nearby heard everything. The crow later shared the news with other animals, and eventually the information reached Felix the fox. Felix smiled wickedly. "So that's their plan." That night, the fox sneaked into the abandoned storage. He scattered dirt everywhere, damaged several repairs, and blocked the entrance with heavy branches. The next morning, Milo, Bruno, and Percy arrived. They were shocked. "What happened?" Bruno barked. Milo examined the damage carefully. "Someone sabotaged our work." Percy's heart sank. Slowly, he admitted the truth. "I told some birds about our project." Milo looked disappointed but remained calm. "This is why plans should remain private until they are complete." Percy lowered his head. "I'm sorry." Bruno placed a paw on Percy's shoulder. "Everyone makes mistakes. Let's focus on fixing this." For the next several days, they worked harder than ever. This time, they were much more careful. Meanwhile, Felix continued watching them from a distance. "They not giving up," he muttered. The fox decided to create another problem. One evening, he approached a group of rabbits. "Did you hear?" Felix lied. "Milo, Bruno, and Percy are building the food reserve only for themselves." The rabbits became worried. Soon, rumors spread throughout the forest. Animals began questioning the three friends. "Are you keeping all the food for yourselves? Why didn't you tell us earlier? Can we trust you?" The accusations hurt. Bruno became angry. "This is unfair." But Milo remained calm. "Rumors are powerful. Arguing won't solve anything. We need to finish our work and let our actions speak." Percy learned an important lesson. Instead of talking about future success, he focused on working quietly. Weeks passed. At last, the storage building was completely repaired. It looked better than anyone had imagined. The walls were strong, the roof was secure, Shelves were filled with grains, nuts, seeds, and dried fruits. When the project was finally complete, Milo invited all the forest animals to visit. The animals gathered curiously. They were amazed. "This is incredible," said a rabbit. "Amazing work," said a squirrel. The deer nodded in appreciation. Milo addressed the crowd. "This food reserve belongs to everyone. It was created to help the forest during difficult times." The animals cheered. Bruno smiled proudly. Percy felt happy, but this time he stayed humble. As everyone celebrated, Felix the fox watched from behind a tree. His plans had failed. No matter how much trouble he created, the three friends had succeeded because they remained determined. Suddenly, a wise old owl flew down from a branch. The owl had observed everything from the beginning. "There is an important lesson here," he said. The forest became silent. The owl continued. "Many dreams fail not because they are impossible, but because they are shared too soon. When a plan is still fragile, it can be damaged by jealousy, criticism, and negativity." The animals listened carefully. The owl looked at Percy. "Talking about success is easy. Achieving success is difficult." Percy nodded respectfully. "I understand now." The owl smiled. "A seed grows underground before it becomes a tree. It doesn't announce itself to the world. It grows quietly until it is strong enough." Everyone reflected on the wise words. Months later, a severe drought struck the forest. Food became scarce. Streams began drying up. Many animals worried about survival. But thanks to the food reserve, no animal went hungry. The grains and supplies collected by Milo, Bruno, and Percy helped the entire forest. The animals were grateful. One evening, as the sun set over the pond, the three friends sat together once again. Bruno looked at the storage building in the distance. "We did it." Milo smiled. "Yes, but only because we didn't quit." Percy nodded thoughtfully. "And because I learned when to stay silent." They laughed. The peacock then looked at his friends. "You know, I used to think success came from people admiring me." "And now?" asked Bruno. Percy smiled. "Now I think real success comes from completing something meaningful." Milo nodded proudly. "That's a lesson many never learn." The stars began appearing in the sky. The forest was peaceful. Animals rested knowing they were safe because of the food reserve. As for Percy, he never forgot the mistake he made. From that day forward, whenever a young animal excitedly announced a big dream before taking action, Percy would gently share his experience. "Work quietly," he would say. "Let your results speak for you. Not everyone needs to know your plans." And so the story of Milo the mouse, Bruno the dog, and Percy the peacock became one of the most famous tales in the forest. Its message was simple but powerful. Never share your plan before it is complete. Dreams grow stronger in silence, and success speaks louder than words.